Everybody, today we will be doing a video, one of my favorite rappers, and I've learned to like him a lot, Kendrick Lamar. We've covered some of his songs in the past. We got one today called ADHD. It's actually kind of funny to me because I realized ADHD, that's my baby. So that's so misdiagnosed and so misunderstood. So I'm kind of surprised I waited this long. But we're going to do ADHD today by Kendrick Lamar, and we're going to break it down. One of the things that was interesting to me about watching Kendrick Lamar's videos and listening to the lyrics and kind of going back and forth, is you have to really kind of like put yourself into situation. I realized watching him 1, 2, 3 videos in a row, let's say ADHD, I get it, but I don't get it. Then I go back to the lyrics, I go back to the video, I go to Wikipedia, and then it begins to make sense. So he kind of grows on you with the videos and the lyrics. And often for me, sometimes I'm out of sync. But after watching the video, going back to the lyrics, going to Wikipedia, looking at some interviews, it begins to flow and begins to make sense. Kendrick to me is like a painter, to be honest, and it's like the kind of painting where you look on the background, it has different layers to it. And great painters can often do that to you. You look at something, even if it's, say, a picture, say, of a farmhouse, for instance, but the great ones will suck you in, and you begin to realize there's details of this, that you didn't realize the first time. And great paintings will often say, you can look at it 1,000 times and see 1,000 different things. And that's what I noticed with Kendrick Lamar with his work that he often does quite well is you look, you see, you hear, you listen, you view, and then all of a sudden it kind of flows together in a way that makes total sense when you look at looking at the Mona Lisa. People have been studying it for 500 years, and for the next 500 years they'll be studying it again. That's how great a painting it was. And that's kind of some of the songs of Kendrick that I've learned to kind of like sip and savor versus gulp, gulp, gulp. I'm actually using one of his lyrics, one of his things, but okay. But it helps me understand him better and get a better graphic understanding of what I'm looking at. All right, this song is called ADHD. This came from those who understand Kendrick and are big fans, obviously from Section 80, his debut album. Some of his videos, obviously the ones I've covered before, are much more descriptive. This one was not, and initially I was kind of curious why that was. Very low-key action. And you notice that life evolves around the corner bodega. They go into an empty building that's all in white. I pick up the fact the whiteness, it's interesting to me, in every video I've seen of him, there's a feeling of whiteness there. Either he has a white shirt on, white building, white context. Is very godlike about it, but I always notice there's a white background on some level in there. Alfred Hitchcock called it the MacGuffin, where you see something that you don't really realize that's kind of central to the plot, but it's kind of like it's there in full view, but you don't pick up on it until it's mentioned to you. And with Kendrick, it's always that whiteness. Even the office that he was in, very stark, all white. I thought that was interesting. What's interesting to me is that, again, that even when he's rapping, the whiteness is all around him. That white. Now, in later videos, he actually has white clothing. He has that white t-shirt I've often noticed. But in this one, I picked up on the white background. And even when he's rapping, the whiteness around him. And he's walking by himself. Again, that feeling of I'm alone. And I give him credit again because indirectly and directly, he really expresses himself as saying, I'm out there. I don't feel part of anything. He's hanging out with his friends. They meet some cute girls. He talks to a girl. He flirts with a girl. But you always get that sense from that pensive look on his face that he feels alone. He feels isolated. He feels empty. And to his credit, he's talked about that feeling that way off stage where he felt depressed, suicidal, and unhappy. So even like his videos and his real life to me kind of merge, which for a lot of artists don't want to kind of get into that. That's kind of scary territory. But to Kendrick's credit, really life and art are the same, which is an interesting juxtaposition. What I liked about it is that the song is referring to ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is a clinical social work I deal with every single day. Probably one of the most overused and exaggerated disorders that are out there and have been used to enslave kids, and I'm not using that word lightly, for the last 20, 30 years. When I was growing up in the dinosaur age, you never heard of such a thing. No one was ever diagnosed with ADHD or told you have to take Ritalin or any of the other 5,000 ADHD drugs that are out there because you need to sit still, you need to be calm. In my time, if you were a little bit cuckoo, a little bit wacky, as a boy, you'd run around some more. Give you a little bit extra recess to burn off that energy. You went back to class. Did kids fidget? Did kids do stuff? Of course. But today it's become almost like an industry. that any kind of individuality, any kind of rambunctiousness, boom, medicate, medicate, medicate. So he's referring to this situation, ADHD, he's referring to attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So for the kids, quote, quote, that attention all over the place and hyper. There you go. How many kids have it? In my experience of treating thousands of people, very, very few. And as you get older, you get more control of yourself, it starts to burn out of you anyway. You don't really have it as you become an adult. Now, what's interesting also is that I see now one of the reviewers, and he even made that comment, this whole video was about being lethargic. So the reason why he's not a lot of high energy as he has in his other videos with huge backgrounds is because, in a sense, he's sleepwalking. And that's the impression he's trying to give with his friends, in the building, with the girls. Everything is aimless, going nowhere, going somewhere, because you're high, you're doped up, you're sedated. And what he's trying to say is, I'm walking like this, I'm talking like this, because I'm not really there. My head is here, my body is here. Very well how he puts that together. And he's referring to, in the lyrics, the high drugs and medication tolerance of people born in the 80s, kids, because that was the era was called the crack babies. The crack babies are going to come through and destroy America, destroy first grade. Didn't happen, obviously. It wasn't an issue at all. But it was the first decade where medications became prevalent to young kids as a way to manage and control them. So what they wanted to push and cross in a lot of the reviews and what he talked about was, and what the director said was, one person reviewed the album said what Kendrick was really pushing was lonely, drugged out youth who seem more interested in Bay Area Kush and Purple Label, that's referring to an alcohol, than they are in life. But you know what? As a clinical perspective, when you're medicated all day long, that's really what you're into. I mean, that's just the reality. You're not going to have a lot of energy to play basketball, to play sports, to study, to read, to follow through, because you're sedated. You're not yourself. It's like waking up and you're exhausted, but you're incredibly tired. That's what it's like. You just feel like you're wearing, the expression cement shoes. So what Lamar wanted to illustrate was illustrate emotions. He wanted to get away from having shots of, the typical shots of drugs, alcohol. That's so overplayed. He wanted to be subtle about it and say, if you're watching this, what you're seeing is the effects of decades of medication that young kids have been put on, or unfortunately, which I see a lot of today, born with cocaine, born with heroin. Now it's with spice. Okay, now it's with methamphetamine. Kids that are ingesting this stuff in utero because their mothers are not being safe are affecting their kids genetically, and I see this more and more and more. And when I see their struggles in school, and I'm told, oh, Bruce, he must have ADHD. Another popular one, he's oppositional defiant, ODD. They're not. They're not because of the ADHD. It's not because of the ODD. Not because they're antisocial. The problem is they have genetic difficulties because of what they were born with that was so toxic to their developing brain. That's the real problem. So they get mislabeled. They're put on the wrong medications. The medications don't help with the real issues, because you really need to sit down with these kids and work with them on their brains and try and work and get the brains to develop as best as they can, given all the genetic garbage and toxicity that they got upstairs that's affected all aspects of their personality. That's the problem. So what he was saying is, when they say like apathetic, not because they're apathetic, because they can't focus. Either they got tainted in birth, or they're on so many pills, antidepressants, antipsychotics, mood stabilizers, ADHD medications, that you really are like a zombie. It's amazing how zombies are so quick and mobile, because the kids I work with, they're like nappy time. They can't even stay awake. I've done assessments with kids in the afternoon, 2:30, 3 o'clock. The kid's like this. I'm like, What's going on? So over-medicated, can't even stay awake. What's the school write down? He's a behavioral problem. He sleeps in class. Wow. No kidding. What a shock. Good insight. Good work there. Now, what he is saying is, this is interesting also. What the director, Vashti Kola, said this. You look at kids that are apathetic, that don't have anything to work with, and they can go in one of two directions. Either you address the issue of why you feel this way, or you say self-medicate. It's so interesting. I just recently saw a kid a few weeks ago that was so over-medicated he was falling asleep during the interview, doing the assessment. And when I saw him, his mother had said, no more meds. What happened? He had a personality. He was talking to me. We were engaging in a conversation. I said, you know what? Hasta la vista, baby. You don't need no more therapy. You're acting like a normal kid. You got your act together. You don't have to come see me anymore. Bye-bye. Go home. Act like a typical teenager. Drive your parents crazy. But you don't need the meds. And you don't need the therapy. Go away. Have a good life. Learn how to figure things out on your own. So you understand that. Either you address the issue or you self-medicate. And what happens becomes a revolving door, because if you don't get your act together as a kid and you want to move away from whatever pills you're prescribed, you medicate with drugs and alcohol. But it's all that self-medication. Medicate with food, medicate calories, I guess. You medicate with drugs, medicate with alcohol, but you self-medicate because you never get to the root of the problem of why you're doing it. Anyone I've ever worked with the medication, or the drugs and alcohol, is why are you doing this to yourself? What is the ultimate goal? Where are you going with this? So this video was a good illustration of Kendrick trying to say, whoa, look at me. This is where I'm coming from. So this video was to get to the age-old universal factor from the first teenager that drove their parents crazy, or her parents, apathetic youth. And the character's moving in slow motion for a reason. Okay, I want to go with the lyrics now. In the first part of the lyrics, it goes like this. Hey, 2 pills and a half, I know that one. Got a high tolerance when your age don't exist. What he's saying is, when you start getting into the medication cycle, to me, age 6 to 86, pop those pills. So you don't have to worry because you're always popping something. So age and tolerance becomes a moot point because take more. So age doesn't exist. I like that. Another thing also is he brings in again from the feeling that he feels today, when you're part of Section 8 and you feel like no one can relate because you are a loner. All right, Section 8, for anyone that's in the business or knows anything about it, Section 8 is rough housing. When you're in Section 8, the government's basically paying the majority of the cost of the housing. You're paying a little bit of it. Section 8 means rough, means tough, means a tough way to live. I got that. Also, marijuana endorphins make you stronger. I'm in the house party tripping off my generation, sipping corpse syrup like it's water. Okay, boom. That's the hook. You take the marijuana, you take the meds, the endorphins. Oh, endorphins is like you go working out. Your endorphins going to make you feel better about yourself. But the weed, endorphins, everything's about a chemical balance to get your back in shape, to get you moving. And he goes, my generation sips cough syrup like it's water. Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. Four Loko, I see it in K-stores. Unbelievable. Literally legal syrup, and people just sucking that down like a 6-pack, like it's normal. So when he says in the beginning, he goes, 12 bottles in the case. Oh, I know where he's coming from on that again. So many kids I've worked with, they suck down that cough syrup, that Four Loko, like it's water, and it's so devastating for you. But what does it do? What is cough syrup supposed to make you do in its pure form? Sleepy, lethargic. So you go to sleep so you can fight that cold or flu that's knocking you in the butt. Now it's like legal to drink that stuff at a house party or at a party and really get to the point where you're totally not sure what's going on around you. And then he goes like this: never no pancakes in the kitchen. Man, no wonder our lives is caught up in the daily superstition. No family life. No pancakes. No butter, no syrup. I like mine with peanut butter. No one's there. There's no one making you feel special. And all of his lyrics are pointing to alienation, loneliness, unhappiness. No, I'm surrounded by apathy. No one cares to make my time special. No pancakes in the kitchen. And then he goes further down. Then she looks at me. Boom, she got ADHD. It's not just boys anymore, people. Girls get hit with this stuff also. ADHD, ADHD. Everyone has ADHD. It's statistically impossible if everyone just in Vegas alone equals the whole country has ADHD. It's statistically impossible. But we're so worried that we have to squash out anything that kids do to you that's not quote quote the norm. Boom, you gotta be labeled, you gotta be on medication. Then he throws in a line here. He goes, it's nothing we can do now. Somebody walked by with a pound of Bay Area Kush. I'm assuming that would be weed, taking a wild guess here. And then she looked at me and looked, and then she grabbed it. She said, got it understood. You know why we crack babies? Because we were born in the 80s, that ADHD crazy. And again, that label has stuck. And because of that label, it has swung now 80s, 90s, 2000s, halfway through the 10s. 40 years now, we've got ourselves cloaked with this medication madness that everything has to be defined by a pill. Nothing emotional, nothing behavioral, pills, pills, pills. Then he goes with the end. He finally goes with the end. And that's the bridge in a sense. All my shine, give you the light, double cup deuce, 4-6, just mix in Sprite. He throws down ecstasy, shrooms, mushrooms, blow. Whatever you like, you can have all my shine, I'll give you my light. How many kids have told me they started off with the ADHD pills and their other pills and moved on to heavier drugs? Talk about gateway, right there. Boom, gateway bridge. That's how got started. Everything was start off with the pill, pill, pill. So indirectly, when we get kids hooked on other kinds of drugs, which all come in a pill or powder form, where do they get the expertise in doing that? You get regimented, you've been taking pills your whole life, so what's the big shock? Today, the CDC said who's the biggest class of addicts now? Women, 35 to 42 or 42, I think to 51, who are taking pain pills. Where'd they learn that? Everyone's taught now, you got a problem, pop those pills. So I want to say with this was an excellent song. I'm glad I finally had the pleasure of covering it. He did a great job in explaining it, but like with Kendrick, it's almost like layer cake. You got to go again and again and again and again and again to uncover what he's really trying to say. You know what, Kendrick? I got it. You grow up in a culture or a neighborhood, a society where everyone's taking pills. That's all you know. So being sluggish, being apathetic, being disinterested, being seen as a problem in school and in life, when you can't even focus back and say, hey, it's not really who I am, it's just what I'm on, you get locked into that cycle and you get depressed. And I love that last line. Never no pancakes in the kitchen. No family, no parents, no mother, nothing. I get it. So the song, though, might be, like this, kind of like slow and slow. To me, it was a sad song and a song saying, I'm unhappy. This is what I see around me. Everybody, thank you for watching. And once again, any comments, any thoughts, we want them. Good, bad, ugly. You want to talk about my weight loss? You want to talk about my haircut? Anything. SUNRIDGE of Nevada, we're looking for this. We want your input because we're going to keep on knocking these out. Have a great one.